California Congressman Adam Schiff, who, after years of claiming to have evidence in plain sight of clear collusion between President Trump and Russia, he's now dismissing the John Durham report, which, of course, found that there was absolutely no collusion. The entire narrative was made up by the Clinton campaign, as we reported to you extensively throughout 2018 and 19. Florida Congresswoman Ana Paulina Luna is now filing a resolution to expel Schiff from Congress, saying that his lies, quote, cost American taxpayers millions of dollars. Back in 2019, both former Congressman Trey Gowdy and John Ratcliffe were among those who joined me, telling me that Schiff had absolutely no evidence to support his Trump-Russia claims, and he was the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, so he knew better than to create these lies. What was it, a year and a half ago, when Adam Schiff came out and went on the Sunday morning programs and said, I have more than circumstantial evidence that there was collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians? How is it possible that he has not corrected himself at this point, since we've heard from the Senate, the House, the DOJ, and now, through Andrew McCabe's own words, the FBI, that we have yet to see any collusion?
There's never been a witness who's alleged conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia, and yet Adam Schiff, that three-eyed raven, Adam Schiff, who can see things nobody else can see.
He put out a report that said there was no FISA abuse by the FBI. That was false. He said that the FBI didn't fail to turn over exculpatory information. That was false. He said that the Steele dossier was not a central part of the FISA applications against Carter Page. That was false.
Yeah, it was all false and made up. Tiana, what gets me is that Adam Schiff was then the chairman of the Intelligence Committee. He saw exactly what John Ratcliffe was seeing and what Devin Nunes was seeing. Devin Nunes was the ranking member.
Yes.
And yet they had completely different stories.
He can't even claim to be a useful idiot, and California voters might give him a job promotion in the form of him becoming their next senator. Look, he says that he doesn't like the false narratives that the Durham report pushed. Durham, who also, might I add, kicked off his career by putting a Republican governor in prison, right? So this is not exactly a partisan hack. Here's what don't lie: the numbers. In the FISA applications that they filed using the, now we know, Russian disinformation of the Steele dossier, across 4 separate FISA applications against Carter Page, who I think might have been the most victimized person in this whole thing, there were 17 errors. That's what John Durham found. Yeah. Over an OIG audit of 29 applications, there were 4 errors.
Yeah.
How is that for your false narrative? They knew they had disinformation. Later turns out this was literal Russian disinformation, and used it anyway because they got it from the Clinton campaign, and it helped their favorable candidate get a lead in the polls.
Yeah, all of those years when I reported that I did not believe this story, I got trashed in the press and on social media. Yep. And, you know, it divided our country so much. This was such an enormous story, Mark. And the fact that the mainstream media still is not coming clean about this is just outrageous.
And Adam Schiff mentioned time and time again, clear evidence in plain sight. The only clear evidence I see is that we have a political double standard. The left is able to push whatever conspiracy theory they want. There's no consequences. In fact, they get rewarded. They win Pulitzers, right?
Yeah.
The right, God forbid somebody on the right question the vaccine or question wearing masks. You lose your social media account. I remember Joe Rogan's podcast with Dr. Robert Malone. I'm pretty sure that was taken down and censored. So, you know, there's certainly 2 different sets of rules here, and it's tough for us to even, you know, stay in the game here.
Without Russiagate, you don't get impeachment number 1, and that means you probably don't get Trump losing the election, and then impeachment number 2.
Let's not forget, we learned about the collusion between government and social media as well through the Twitter files, right? We learned that there were 1,000 people within various agencies trying to amplify lies and suppress truth.
The FBI gave them money, gave Twitter money to suppress the Hunter Biden laptop.
That's right. Nancy, what do you think?
Oh, I just, you know, this is no way to run a country.
Yeah.
I do think that Americans are catching on. And to me, the issue is egregious just from a standpoint of leadership, but also because of all the money that's been wasted and the time and people's lives. And I just think it's time for a clean break from this partisanship. And how did it infiltrate the FBI? That's my question.
It's terrible. And we still see the repercussions of that political bias at the top of the FBI.